There is hope for the people of Singur, or that is what they think, with Prime Minister Narendra Modi's visit on Sunday to Singur, and with promises of the BJP that the Tatas will come back to Singur. There is some kind of apprehension also with some of the farmers who believe that it is West Bengal Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee who has done a lot for them, and they believe that it is only her who can help them. However, there's another section of farmers who had in fact given their land to the Tatas for the building of the Tata Nano Car factory way back. And at that point in time, they believed that the factory would come up. But when things turned the other way, and when Mamata Banerjee fought for the rights of the farmers who had opposed the land acquisition, it was at that time that these farmers who had given up their land wondered what would be their future. Today they have hope with Prime Minister Narendra Modi's visit, because they believe that now it is time for industry to come to Singur. There is a certain section of farmers that believes that this is the right time for industry because the land is just lying vacant. They cannot cultivate anything on that land after the Tata Nano Car factory had already started coming up on that land, because they had willingly given up their land and they had got the compensation. They were happy with that. So today they feel that instead of sitting at home, they have of course aged, and they were the bread earners of their families, and now is the time when, if the factory does come up, it will be to their advantage. Also their children, when we spoke to these farmers who were willing for the factory to come up, said that they have sons and daughters who are in their late 20s and 30s. They have studied but are not getting jobs, and it is time for them to look forward to industry in Singur so that they can get jobs. But this is one section of these farmers, and of course they will go to Prime Minister Narendra Modi's rally to see what he has to say. They also want to in some way appeal for this industry to come up to reach the Prime Minister. Now whether that will happen or not is something which is not very clear. However, when it comes to the other section of farmers who are not willing to really give up the land, but there is also somewhere that ice that they are trying to break, and trying to see whether if they can give up a certain portion of the land for industry and keep the other portion to cultivate something and continue with their farming, then that is something they could work towards. But two different sections of farmers speaking in two different languages. The farmers who did not want to give up their land to the Tatas are now saying that they are able to cultivate their land. When we spoke to one of the conveners of the Krishi Jami Rakha committee, which was there at that point in time spearheading this anti-land acquisition protest, they said that out of the 997 acres, 300 acres of land is right now cultivable. There's the other 300 acres where they say that something should be done to clean up that land, and they have appealed to the Chief Minister so that that land is cleaned up and they can cultivate something on the 300 acres. The remaining 400 acres, they say, is where the Tatas or any other industry can come in and something can perhaps happen. So industry as well as farming can coexist, but that is what they say. These promises that the BJP has made in their speech is something that the farmers are hoping will bear fruit. But is it only words that the BJP is saying? Is it something that Prime Minister Narendra Modi will take forward, not just in terms of a speech, but in terms of a promise that can be fulfilled? So it's Mamata Banerjee versus Narendra Modi, the Prime Minister of the country, who also promises a lot for the people over here. But the farmers hoping that there's something that comes out of this rally. With Salil Bera, this is Prema Rajaram.